Hi everyone, this is Chris Pistorius with iFuse Marketing, and today we're doing another Google Live Hangout, so a live interview today with the owner of BWB Bail Bonds. Brian Easley is who we're going to be chatting with today, and he's going to give us some great information about bail bonds and how the process works and some things that you need to look out for when you're looking for a bail bondsman. So without any further ado, Brian, how are you? Good to have you today.
Very good. Thanks for having me on.
Sure thing. Why don't you just why don't we start out and just tell me a little bit about yourself? What kind of makes you tick?
Well, I do have a bit of a cowboy in me. I kind of grown up in that lifestyle most of my life, but kind of also in that line, I've also inherited that type of honesty and ethics that goes with that. And from there, I joined Uncle Sam's Canoe Club, otherwise known as the Navy, United States Navy, and I did just about 9.5 years there. And after I got done with the Navy, I did about 10 years as a police officer in several different jurisdictions. And from that, during that time, I had done some fugitive recovery work, had gotten familiar with bail bonds from back then, and it just opportunity came to me to be a bail bond agent. I have to admit, I didn't think I was going to like it. I really didn't have a high opinion of the industry at the time, but it's not like it wasn't something I knew about, so I really wanted to give it a shot and be honest with it, and to tell you honestly that I had initially said I'd give him a year. I'd get licensed, I'd give him a year, and we'd see how it goes. And I'll tell you what, I really love what I do. It really gives me an opportunity to help people a lot better than when I was a peace officer, honestly. So that's kind of what got me over to being a bail bond agent.
Okay, well, that's a good story. It seems like a good way to get into the business. It seems like in your industry, some people just kind of out of better things to do become a bail agent. And I know there's several bail agents out there. How long have you been in the business? Obviously, you've got some criminal background with being a police officer, which I have to imagine can only help that much more, having that legal background. I'm sure that not a lot of other bail bondsmen have that background. So how long have you been in the actual bail bond business?
Well, Chris, I've only actually been in the bail bond business for 5 years, but I've been involved in the criminal justice system for about 25 years or thereabouts. And yes, there are a few other bond agents who have some law enforcement background, but it's usually centered on one thing or another. And I've been pretty fortunate with the different jurisdictions that I've been involved with, that I've actually, I've worked courts, I've worked patrol, I've worked the jail. I pretty much know this system very thoroughly. And then I'm one of those crazy fools that I actually like reading case law. I actually enjoy reading the law, figuring out what a statute means, etc. So that's one of the things that I can bring to my people, is not just getting them out of jail, but without giving legal advice, sharing with them my experiences on what will happen or can happen within the court system.
Okay, great. So you talked a little bit about how you became a bail bondsman. What was it that really drove you to want to make that final decision and say, hey, I've done the law enforcement thing, now I'm going to go out and be a bail bondsman? What was the driving factor there?
Well, just like most people, I will say it was the economy. It was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. But I quickly found out with my background, there was so many people out there who have no knowledge whatsoever. I mean, it's like a foreign language in a lot of cases. And I tell you, it did not take very long that I just immediately found my niche. And, found, I know this is going to sound on a religious vein, but really found what I was supposed to do.
Okay, that's awesome. I think it's pretty rare for people to be able to to be able to say that about their profession. So I think that speaks volumes. Kind of switching gears a little bit here. A lot of it would seem to me anyway, not being that familiar with it, that people don't really know anything about bail bonds until they need one. So maybe you could go over a little bit about what is the bail process. Is it different from state to state, county to county, city to city? How does all that work? Just kind of if you could sum up the process of how things usually work.
The overall process is generically the same, and I think everybody's kind of familiar with this. Somebody gets into some type of trouble, they are arrested, they're taken to a jail, they are booked in, and then they are given some type of opportunity to either call their loved ones or call a bond agent. In some cases, they may have no bond given what the charges are, and the judge within 72 hours will see them and potentially set a bond, which most jails will then again give them a chance to make some phone calls. That is the overall generic process. More detailed than that, yes, it does vary from even county to county here in Colorado, and certainly from state to state. But that's not anything. The overall generic process, I think, is probably what's most needed to know. They will be advised what their charges are by either the arresting officer or the booking officer, so they'll have some idea what that is. They'll also be given some indication of what their bond amount is, unless, like I said before, in certain cases, normally surrounding domestic violence, where it's a domestic violence related case. Most of Colorado has a no bond hold until they are advised by a judge.
Okay, great. How long does it take? I mean, obviously that's probably varies too, but if somebody in my family were to get into trouble, say, and how long could it take before I have my loved one out of jail?
Yeah, it does vary from county to county. It just depends really on how large the county is, thereby how large the jail is, how many people they're trying to process at a time. Now, we're very specific about that, or more specific depending upon the county on our website. We do try to give that information to try to help folks in understanding that by county to county. But generally, in smaller counties, it can be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. In much larger counties, we have seen it take up to 12 hours.
Okay, great. Good to know. So how do people typically find a bail bondsman? How does that process work?
Most people, things happen when they least expect it. It can be in the middle of the night. It can be an unexpected event. They're at work. They're whatever the situation is. And I apologize. I got sidetracked. What was the question again?
Oh, I was just curious. When somebody does get into trouble, how do they find how typically do they find a bondsman?
Yeah. It will vary from county to county. Some counties will have a list of bond agents. Some counties will have business cards. Some counties will allow access to some type of advertising media, like the web. And now the deputies or the law enforcement personnel cannot recommend to you any one bond agent. All they can do is show you the list and let you decide on who who that defendant or who the cosigner is going to call. So commonly what we find is we have a lot of people who are looking on the web now with the advent of smartphones, carrying those around. A lot of people, even then, without going, to their computer, they'll look it right up on their smartphone and try to find a bond agent that way.
Okay. Yeah, so many different ways to find information now. It's crazy. Okay. So, how does your company? Obviously, you own BWB Bail Bonds, but do you actually personally handle the bonds, or how does that work with your company?
I'm still a bond agent, and I still do post bonds. But we have a good stable of bond agents now. We're continuing to grow. We are looking to have bond agents in more counties than what we do now. So there's always, the nice thing about that is there's always somebody available to, handle your bond. I don't care which of us that you talk to. We work as a team. We work together. So If that bond agent that you contact isn't available, they immediately pass it on to the other bond agent. If it's too far to travel, they will give it over to the closest bond agent to that county. And that's what we strive to do. But yes, I still post bonds, and I still do some traveling and get out there on the road and visit the different counties. Yes, sir.
Great. Um, when you have to go through this bail process, and let's say somebody hires you, how does the payment process work? Do they pay you cash? Do they write a check, or do you accept credit cards? Does everybody qualify for this? So how can you talk a little bit about that? Brian, you still with us?
Yeah, there we are. Yep,
Oh, there
we're
we go.
back.
You gotta love technology and live television. We still there? Did we get disconnected? Brian, can you hear me? Brian, are you there? Hello, Brian. Looks like we may have lost Brian at this point. We'll give him a couple more seconds here to come back and see if we can get connection back. Let me run a couple of checks myself. Nikki, can you hear me okay? Wave your hand if you can. Okay, cool. So it must be on Brian's side. Um, we'll give him just another minute here to try to come back to the broadcast and see if we can't catch him. While we're waiting for Brian, why don't I just talk a little bit about what I know about Brian and his organization. We do some marketing work with BWB, and this video is certainly one of those uh, marketing efforts. And we've worked with Brian now for almost 2 years, and like with other clients, he's very passionate about what he does. He's very thorough. Um, we manage his overall kind of like customer service as well. So we get a lot of feedback from his customers about how good his company's service is and things like that. And I can certainly tell you that almost 2 years into this, we have not heard one bad thing about his company, and that's rare. Usually, you always can't make everybody happy, and he's in a very sensitive business where, things are not going right when you call his kind of a business. So sometimes you get all kinds with that. But his customer feedback has been superb. So with other clients that we have in other industries, we always, typically always get one or two complaints or, get some negative feedback here and there, and that's okay because that helps you make your business better. But with Brian and his organization and his bail agents, we always hear very positive things. So I think that speaks a lot about his company and what they do. They service, and I'm sure Brian will talk a little bit more about this when we do get him back online. And Nikki, could you maybe reach out to Brian and see if he's able to get back? Um, One other thing also about BWB is that they do service all of Colorado. So they cover every county within Colorado, and they have, as Brian just spoke about, they actually have local bail agents in most of their counties. So you're almost always dealing with somebody local or that lives within the region. And that helps because they obviously have contacts within those local areas, and they know people there, and typically they'll know the process a little better as well. So it's good that he can cover or have an organization that covers all of Colorado and have local agents there. And as he told you, he covers a lot of Colorado too. He likes to get out there and he likes to go out and visit the jails and help people. So it's certainly a bail agency that will go the extra mile to try to help. So we are still waiting on Brian to try to come back here. So we're going to give him another minute or so. We do have some thunderstorms rolling through the area. So he may have lost power or maybe internet access. So this is a live hangout. So unfortunately, there's no editing here. So we're going to give him another minute or two here to see if we can't get him back online, and if not, then we may just have to stop the broadcast and maybe start again at another point. So, Nikki, have you heard anything back from him at all? Okay. Is he? Did he lose power or something, Nikki? You don't know. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, I think what we're going to do for now is we're going to go ahead and end the broadcast, and then we'll just start up a new one when we do have a chance. So, those of any of you out there watching this live, we apologize for the little glitch that we have going on, but please check back for more webinars regarding bail bonds and other topics that we will be discussing. Thank you.